That's right.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's, am I recording?
Yes, you are
Yes,
recording.
okay. All right. So, number one, thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. And in general, I just want to say, to start this out by saying, thank you all for coming, for caring, for supporting our community, for supporting our business. I know everybody out there is struggling in some way or another, some more than others. But the fact that you all have the bandwidth and the compassion and the care and attention to stay plugged into what we're doing, supporting the business, supporting our coaches, is just really incredible. And I have just such profound gratitude for all the support that we've had from our community in so many different ways. We have people who are doing virtual classes still, that going really strong. We still have active members who are not engaging in those classes, but still keeping their memberships active to support the gym. We have members who have helped out through the Give program, buying boxes of meat for coaches in need. We have members who have told their parents to join our new Fit 55 virtual classes, and that's been great. We have folks from all over the country in that class, parents of members, etc. And again, just all the words of support, the messages, the emails, the texts on Instagram, all those things. Many of which are asking how much more equipment we have to loan out, but many of them are just supportive in general. So again, I just want to thank you all so much for being here, for being you, and for caring about what we're doing. I don't know if you guys remember, but like March 14th, I put out a video on Instagram where I was like, all right, everybody, we're shutting this thing down for 2 weeks. We're going to, try to bear and grit it, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks at the end of the month. And, that's how many months ago at this point. So it's been a long, stressful ride for us, as I'm sure it has for many of you too, for every small business owner and person on planet Earth right now. But to give you guys an update too, yeah, we're still waiting. Gyms were taken out of phase 4, and we have not heard anything from the state since then. So about a week or two prior to New York going to phase 4, they removed indoor malls, movie theaters, and gyms from the reopening plan. And as of yet, there's been a little things that have trickled out, but nothing substantial, no metrics, no dates, no things like that. And that's been a frustrating process, for us, because our plan, whether it's going to be a 2-week, from now, say it's a 2-week closure, a 2-month or a 6-month closure, are very different strategies. So just as a business, trying to do our best to stay above water, to be transparent with you guys, has been tough, because we want to open, we want to give you guys answers, but we haven't had very much coming in. So the intention of this town hall tonight is to kind of give you a peek into what we're planning, how we're planning on reopening, talk about some of our COVID safety protocol that we're planning on, and then opening it up to questions. So as I go through this stuff, so Jess Fox is my co-host. So she's going to be also monitoring some of the comments. So I'm going to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can without being overly verbose, because I promised Jess I would keep this under an hour. And
guys, we're placing a bet too on the over under. So type your bets in the chat box.
No,
timestamps, go. No.
I'll be done in 15 minutes then. But if you have any questions while I'm going through some of this stuff, what I recommend you do is just throw your question in the chat box. Jess is going to keep tabs on that. And then if we don't get to everyone's questions at the end when we have a Q&A portion, we're going to write them down, and then I'll follow up with you guys in maybe I'll just shoot another video on myself answering a bunch of questions. Cool. All right. So
I just picture you, just a video of yourself talking some more, David. That's it. Not even related to questions.
Part 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Part 2 of this. All right. So I'm going to share screen. Let's do this one. And then I think this is going to work. Are you guys sharing this big screen now? Because that popped out. Well, you can see that.
You can see
it. All right, so we have a little town hall. So our outline for the evening is we did our welcome and thank you. I want to talk about our COVID safety plan, and then membership details for our new memberships, and then go into a little Q&A or format where we can kind of talk about follow-ups on those topics or other open-ended topics, whether they be CrossFit, park workouts, whatever, okay, which we'll get into. So regarding COVID, this is something that I'm going to unshare for a second. It's definitely something that we're taking really seriously. It's not something like, I understand why gyms are closed. People breathing heavy indoors is a risk factor. I'm not going to try to hide behind that and say that there's no risk and it's ridiculous that we're closed, etc. We believe that we can do what we want to do safely. But I just want to kind of start this with the intention, and let you guys know this is something that we take very seriously. We want to keep you healthy. That's the number one goal, healthy and safe. So, all of this is done with, yes, we want to get our business up and running, but more important than our business is your safety. More important than, us paying our bills, doing anything, is you guys being safe and healthy. So I'm actually going to start this with a little video, a world premiere that we shot earlier today, that will give you kind of a sense of how the flow is going to be coming into the gym, what the gym looks like right now, and then we'll follow that up with some further details on COVID. So let me go ahead and share my screen here again. And can you guys all see that? Give me a thumbs up. You can see that. That looks good. This is Katie. Make sure this volume's turned up. I don't know how that works on your computers, but we're going to do that. All right, so this video is only like 3.5 minutes. It's not going to be too long. And this is the process we're getting into classes.
Alrighty guys, so as you guys come in, you will be hand sanitizing, finding your little dot or marking on the floor to stand on. And then you're gonna wait for the coach to call you up, who will then do a temperature check. Make sure that you guys are good to go. You get the green light. You'll be assigned a station. Move up in line.
Station 2.
You'll be good to go.
Can you put your stuff over there? Station 3. You want to put your stuff down? Feel free. All right. I'm going to be head outside. Back. Get back in. Follow. All right, so let's get into this one, guys. If you're grabbing plates, you're going to stay in toward the center of the gym. Folks who are going actively in the work, just head to the outside so we can create some space in the middle. Go ahead and get started. We'll take about 5 minutes to get this done. As you're coming up to get plates, just give each other some room. Got plenty of time to get this all. Nice job on that workout, everybody. Time to clean up the barbells. Make sure you wipe down, grab some of these cloths, give it a good spray, and then you're going to wipe down the bar and the bumpers. Well done. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us. Come on out and file this way. Grab your bags on the way out. Air high fives. Nice work. Good to see you, Arturo. Here, buddy.
Fresh that clean up, bro.
All right, 10:30 breakfast. Here we are. Oh, 8. All right, as you come in, guys, you can take your bags to your stations, or you can put them on the shelf just by the bathroom. Please keep your distance. Come on, 8. All right, Katie Harper, you can take the car platform. Jeff Cox, you can take the next one along. Thank you. Lauren, you're in the center. Arturo, you're on this one here, and Ren, you can take the first platform. All right, good job, 10:30. If everyone can please stay protected right through here. Thank you so much for the class. You can stay distance. 11:30. Bye, guys.
Action. Hey, mate. How are you?
had a little bit of issues signing in to my Zoom planner to register for class. And you look at my account.
All right. So real quick, little virtual hand of applause for the incredible acting of all our coaching staff.
That was world class.
That was
Offline stores and events
okay.
have countless untapped.
Okay. All right. Advertising. So that can give you kind of a sense of what we want to do in terms of our class flow and things like that. Some things to note that obviously all classes are going to be RSVP. They'll be between 8 to 10 people. Same thing if you're doing open gym, 8 to 10 people. We're going to talk about the distinctions of our memberships in a little bit. We're going to have, basically you have like a little area. It's almost like a little garage that you'll be training in. So there's going to be no sharing of equipment. Occasionally a rower or a bike may be shared, but for the most part, there's no partner workouts. There's no sharing of equipment. Every single station in the gym, all 20 stations downstairs, have their own racks, their own bench, their own go mat, their own cleaning equipment, and many of them have access directly to bumpers and equipment to prevent people from overlapping and interacting physically too much there. Yes?
I was just going to comment on one thing. So there were some comments, you guys are making fun of our backpacks, but I do just want to point out that when you guys come into the gym, we don't have a lot of storage. So you will, like your shoes, if you have special weightlifting shoes, if you have your special jump ropes, anything like that, will have to come with you. So yeah, don't knock it. I'm sure many of you guys are going to be having your own backpacks too.
Yeah, we arranged some of the space. So in 597, in the before times, folks would go into the boiler room and put their stuff down there. We can't have people going into that small space. So as you saw in the video with Katie, we basically cleared out where the leaderboards were and all that stuff was. And in both spaces, there's basically 10 places to put your stuff. So you can hold on to it, bring your space, or you can go ahead and rack it there. We're doing temperature checks, and then we're doing masks. So I would put money on masks being mandated citywide when gyms open anyway, based on what I've seen and what we've heard for how New York's handled things. But you know, that's our plan. I know a lot of gyms that I've talked to other places in the country, like, no, it's impractical, etc. We did 3 focus groups earlier in the months, and it was overwhelming that masks were required, that people wanted to have masks for their training. You know, for me, I was like, I totally get it. Like, I have to wear a mask to get a cup of coffee, but I'm going to do Murph next to somebody for 45 minutes without a mask on doesn't seem to make sense. And, you know, we could always go back. We'll follow whatever the guidelines they give us, but, you know, I would rather be more cautious than not. I would rather be more conservative and safe with things. And we can always go to, you can titrate down versus doing too much too soon. Again, I think it's going to be mandated by the city anyway, but that is our plan. I'm going to screen share again here real quick. If I know, there it is, the big green button. Some other considerations for COVID. So we're not going to have communal chalk. So if you want to buy your own chalk, we're going to have bricks of chalk available at the front desk where you can get a gallon bag, plastic Ziploc bag, you get your chalk, and that chalk will last you like 6 months. So you can bring that, that can be part of your kit that you bring to the gym. We don't have towel service right now, so that's both for the showers and the black sweat towels that we used to have. So, you know, as just mentioned, when you guys come to class, you want to bring your shoes, bring a towel, bring a water bottle, whatever else you need. We're not doing access to no showers or the locker rooms, which are the shower rooms essentially in 608. As much as we love your dogs, we're doing no non-staff dogs. So staffers who are going to be at the gym for, you know, all day, many hours, etc., are be able to bring their dog, but we're going to ask members to not bring their dogs. And then also we're doing no children for the time being as well, for while members come and train. As just mentioned, there's going to be no permanent shoe equipment storage. And we're going to plan on not doing sidewalk training. You know, sometimes open gym folks will want to go out to do stuff on the sidewalk, but consideration for the people who are lined up outside of class waiting to come in, as well as pedestrians and things like that. We want to, again, just be more conservative in the beginning with our approach towards this. So, Jess, I don't know if we've gotten any questions yet about COVID, but I'm going to go into memberships in a second. I see a lot of banter in the comments section.
Yeah, just some banter. I mean, you know, just the fact that children are practically immune, that was important to say.
So let me open this up right now real quick before we go into the memberships. Does anybody have any questions, concerns? Oh, Joel, okay, so good. So Joel asked, does no sidewalk training mean no running programming? I've done we have about 9 to 10 weeks of programming written. I've gone through 7 weeks of it. I've been doing all the programming that I planned for group classes, mostly with a mask, to the exact timestamps that you guys are going to be doing it, including equipment. So I'm just like troubleshooting everything right now. I didn't program any running workouts for the first 4 or 5 weeks, just to get a handle on things. And then I have some running program work that we'll do, but a lot of that will be like staggered starts on that. So it's not going to be a rush of 10 people coming out. And you'll always have the option to do a rower or a bike instead. Catherine says, I'm endorsing liquid chalk. Been working great for me, and it comes in tidy portable bottles, not messy. Sarah says, what is running? Are there any serious questions about COVID?
There was one, David, about programming. Will programming change in any way since folks will be wearing masks? And I think the programming is going to stay the same for that, but this, because you are wearing masks, this is going to be a little bit of where you guys are going to be responsible for self-regulating and knowing that if you feel like you all of a sudden can't breathe, then you just are going to have to slow down a little bit. Masks will be required. If you need to pull them off for a second to take a quick sip of water, then that's allowed. Not pull them off, but pull them down. But if you feel like you need more than that, then we're going to encourage you guys to go outside for where there's open space, and then you can remove them, catch your breath, put them back on, and then you're available to come back in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me catch up on all these questions coming in. So another change to programming in general is that I will say that a lot of the programming is biased towards weightlifting, a lot of time under tension, dumbbell stuff that you can't access at home. So you're not going to see a bunch of body weight workouts. There's going to be barbells based in every single workout. We'll be doing barbell training, often both in the conditioning and the strength work. So it's a lot of strength training. It's a lot of basic lifts. It's a lot of fun stuff like that. Let me go to these pull-ups. So Alona, I mean, you can change in the bathrooms. The bathrooms will still be available. We just don't have the communal shower rooms, which in prior times multiple people would go in. Elad, we will do pull-ups. A lot of the pull-up workouts I have programmed are EMOMs or station workouts, where if I have a group of 10 people, only a third of them will be at the pull-up bar at any given time. So we will definitely be doing pull-ups. Stella says, are there any pieces of equipment that are more high touch than others, like jump ropes, that will be avoided also? I mean, with the jump rope, we're going to wipe everything down at the end of the class, and the workouts are written with all of this in mind to be relatively straightforward. You're not going to have 6, 7, 8 pieces of equipment out. It's going to be like barbell, jump rope, box, so that we're able to use our equipment without sharing it really, or any cross-contamination. Jay asked, what about spotting lifts? The programming, we're doing a lot of bench pressing. The only thing that we need to spot is a bench press. There's no max squats happening. The bench press in the first 7 weeks is primarily 8 to 12 reps. A coach can spot you, or we're going to ask folks not to not fail. Like, that's going to be a big thing, is, don't put yourself in a situation where you miss. But if you do, we have a protocol with coaches helping you out on that as well. Everyone misses barbells.
The other thing too, I'll just add to that about coming back. For a lot of you guys, you haven't touched a barbell in a long time. So coaches will encourage you guys to go lighter, even lighter than you think you normally would. So just kind of keep things really safe, really out of the fail zone.
Unless you really want it. I'm just kidding.
David.
No, okay, so spotting on lifts, capped at 10. We're going to talk about the RSVPing for classes momentarily. We'll talk about Leo Open Gym momentarily. This is barbells.
Kelly.
Okay. So for contact tracing, what's nice about our gym is that it's actually really easy to contact trace. So say Jess Fox, let's use a member. Let's say Robert Larson, because he's on my screen right here. Robert, you won. You got COVID. You tested positive for COVID. You emailed us. You contacted us to say, hey, I tested positive for COVID. And then what we can do is we know every single person that you've shared the gym with over the last 2 weeks. So all of those people will receive an email saying that we're not going to say your name, but someone in your class has tested positive for COVID. Take the precautions, get tested, et cetera, and so forth. So folks who've shared the space with that person will get a notification. The state has been extremely vague about contact tracing. They just tell you to have a plan, but that's pretty much it. So, it's really on our system that a member would come back to us and be like, hey, I tested positive for COVID. But certainly, whether it's a coach or a member, every single person who was in that space with that coach, with that person, will get, over the prior 2 weeks, will get notified.
We had a short circuit. I'm sorry.
Steph says, can I bring my own barbell? Steph, we've got 80 barbells in the gym. You don't need to bring your own barbell.
We did have a question about Open Gym, which I think we'll talk about. Open Gym will be available for those who had Open Gym memberships before. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later when we talk about memberships. Short circuit will be a part of our reopening, which we'll also talk about later when we share the schedule.
So Kelly asked me, will those in contact be asked not to attend class for 2 weeks? Let me look into that. I'm not 100% sure. Whatever the guidelines are, I'm going to follow. I'm not 100% sure what that process will be beyond what we described. Adopted dumbbells, a week prior to the gym opening, we're going to pull back in all the equipment. I know it's really hard to get equipment still. Somehow the supply chain has not been brought back, but what's it called? But we do need to have the equipment back because, I described to somebody in one of the focus groups, I was like, you might be using your dumbbell or whatever, and that's 1 hour of the day that's getting used, and 23 hours is just sitting there collecting dust, or that can be used by multiple people multiple times per day throughout that. So
the last one of the things from Lauren asked about SBK at home workouts. Those are still going to continue as we reopen, whenever that is, because we realize that the gym doesn't feel safe for everyone yet. So we do plan to continue those.
Yeah. And just the last note on programming there is that the at-home workouts will also try to complement the indoor workouts as well. So if you're doing a hybrid of that, so if you have a membership, which we'll talk about in a second, you have access to all the online classes. So they'll be kind of written with each other in mind. Cool. Any other questions on COVID safety plan? Looks like not.
Yeah, Alan had asked about PCR testing, and I'm not familiar with PCR. What's PCR, guys?
It's the test for the test for COVID.
It's polymerase chain reaction. So what it does is it takes a piece of the antigen, if you have it, and then multiplies it multiple times in order to be identified on a ELISA immunoassay when you do it, to see if you have antibody or not.
In like our common speak, antibody testing?
Antibody test.
Okay. That's
do you have antibody? Do you not have antibody? And it's supposed to be the most accurate form of test.
Got it. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, we know who we're going to refer to. We have a question about that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our, we can dig into whether the PCRs are not later on. I'm going to ask staff to get tested before we reopen too. I got tested about a month ago, and it took 16 days to get my results back, but we will ask staff to get tested beforehand. All right, let's move on to the memberships, because we are already halfway through. All right, so let me share screen. Okay, so when our gym reopens, we can essentially think that we have 3 classes of membership. We have group classes, we have open gym, and we have virtual memberships. Our group classes cover our group class, our short circuit, and virtual classes are also inclusive of that, part of that membership, which we'll go through. For the open gym category, we've got open gym people who just do open gym. We've got people who do remote programming as well as open gym. And then we have folks who just do personal training. And then we have our virtual memberships which will be our at-home classes, yoga, AR, mindful meditation, Fit 55, Pilates, and kids, which is a separate program. Let's go into the group classes first. So we have our group class. We used to have tiered memberships of 3 times a week, 5 times a week, unlimited, so on and so forth, with add-ons and things like that. Things are going to be quite simple now. We're going to have one group class membership that includes access to up to 4 in-house workouts per week. I'm going to go through the programming on that. And then we have 2 options here. We have a sustaining membership, and then we have a benefactor membership. I'm going to talk about discounts and stuff, all that in a second, as we get towards the bottom of this and the open gym stuff. We have these 2 memberships basically, because we had in our focus groups and people who've reached out to me to be like, hey, fortunately, I have the means to contribute a little bit more. And if that's going to really help the gym stay alive, I would be more than happy to do that. So we've had people who have offered that, very generously. And so we have that benefactor rate out there. We also have the sustaining rate, which is $265. So obviously these are price increases. Again, we're just shy of 13 years. I've raised prices twice in those 13 years. Once when we had 608 and once, several years back from that. So it's something that, I do reluctantly, something that I don't revel in. But the reality is our membership is basically being almost cut in half, the amount of people that we can accommodate in classes. So, as you guys who have been around for a while, it's not uncommon to have a 15 top, a 20 top class, things like that. Every class is going to be 8 to 10 people. So because of the significantly decreased traffic that we're going to have, we did have to increase our rates, unfortunately. But that's unfortunately the reality of just this post-COVID world. We still have a drop-in available for $30. We have 10 class punch card for $250, and then open gym access if you want to do an add-on. So say someone wants to do 4 classes and they want to also do an open gym class, a 5th workout later on in the week or something like that, or after their class. If the schedule lines up, they can do that. For our group workouts, so I mentioned that it's 4 days a week. So basically the program is going to be broken down into 4 workouts. So Monday, Tuesday are going to run the same workout. Wednesday, Thursday are going to run the same workout. Friday, Saturday are going to run the same workout. And then Sunday will be the only day that has a single day option for that workout. We're doing this so we can be really equitable with people getting their training in. People want to get their squats in, their deadlifts, all this stuff. And I don't want it to be kind of catch as catch can, where like, oh, I missed the lift that I really want to hit this week because I didn't get into my class. So our plan, again, is to roll out with this format where you can kind of come in. You have 2 options. The RSVP is you can RSVP for a class up to 1 week in advance, and that's rolling. So, it's basically opens up exactly a week before the class. So it's not like one specific time that all the classes open up and you have to be on, but it will be a rolling schedule so that you'll be able to, it'll make it a little bit more equitable for people to get in and get classes, not just one time that might overload the system. So I'm going to show you all here real quick the idea of our schedule. I'm going to go into open gym and all that stuff too, so don't worry, but I just want to give you guys a sense of this here. So what we'll have, for example, is we'll have 10 people at 6 a.m. on Monday. We have both of these classes happening. This is actually 8. Fix that now. And then we have some open gym slots as well. So 597 is primarily going to be used for group classes. And because we have, basically 2 days of the same programming for group classes, you'll note that the first day, so for Monday in workout 1, there's way more group classes available. And then on Tuesday, there's fewer group classes and more open gym availability. So that's going to give folks a little bit more flexibility. So again, we hope to be able to accommodate all the folks who can come in. That's going to accommodate about 262 to 292 if you add the short circuit classes into that of group memberships. And then, like I said, we have our open gym. Many of these are capped at 6. And actually the open gym times are a little bit more flexible than they used to be. And then you'll see the same exact format, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are running the same class. So Friday, same thing. We have some open gym times. We have open gym in the evening. We have some group classes starting a little bit earlier at 3:30 on Fridays. And then on the weekends, the initial block is going to be group classes. And then we'll go into the evening with, or the afternoon rather, with open gym times. All the open gym blocks are 90-minute blocks. Okay, so for my open gym folks, or if you want to do an add-on open gym, those are going to be 90 minutes, not an hour. This middle portion, we're not gonna open with. I'm scrolling too much. Jess tells me not to scroll too much. This middle portion, we're gonna initially just keep for coaches getting their own training in. I don't want a situation where none of the coaches are able to work out because there's no time for them. So we're going to launch with that middle area being just for coaches to work out and get their stuff together. And then, we'll see. This is our plan. And the reality is, like, when we reopen, we will probably have to adjust in some way. But this is definitely the plan that we're going to launch with, so that, again, we can give people the most, opportunities to get into class, get their workout in, and feel like, okay, I'm getting, what I'm paying for here, essentially. So let's talk a little bit about so I'm going to talk about the open gym membership, then I'll talk about virtual, and then we'll open it up to questions about either of those memberships. So for our open gym memberships, we have our open gym membership, which is 4 times a week. That's going to be at $215, or you can do drop-ins at $30. So someone could do 4 days a week at $215 and then do an additional drop-in at $30 for a 5th class. The open gym hours are not like the group class hours where you have to go Monday or Tuesday, then you have to go Wednesday or Thursday. Those are just going to be available and open, so you have some more flexibility in training because we have technically fewer available slots for open gym. We have the open gym plus individualized programming, which quite a few people do or did prior to our closing. So in that one, the OG dress drops about $15, and then the coach's programming fee varies. So those vary based on how often the coach is programming for you, how much, it's worked out between you and your coach, what that arrangement is. And then we have personal training, and personal training is the same exact prices as before. If you're doing PT, your coach will book the time for you. So, Ben is like, hey, I want to do a personal training session. He'll tell me his availability. I'll look at the schedule, make sure it works. I'll lock us both in, and then we'll just meet up at the gym there. Here's some fine print. So some of this stuff we covered. So RSVP is mandatory, and all classes are capped at 8 to 10 people. Classes can be reserved up to 1 week in advance. There's a strict 24-hour cancellation policy in effect. Cancellations within 24 hours will be deducted from your weekly visits. Class reservations cannot be transferred to another class day with less than 24 hours notice. So I have tried to avoid RSVPs the entire history of our gym. When we got too busy with 597 and it was like we have to RSVP, I just got a different space. I got a whole other space. I was like, let's get across the street so we don't have to do that. The gym has been, in many ways, I've tried to be very flexible, very accommodating with members, especially in New York. Some things happen, the subway, gets jammed up or whatever the case might be. So we've really tried to keep this as simple as we can, but going into this new phase of having to RSVP, we're going to have to be a lot more stricter with these guidelines, not really have exceptions and things like that. Just because if you can gamify the system, everybody's going to do it. If everyone knows, I can cancel and email them and they'll be nice about it, that's going to be really problematic for us to be really fair for the people who are following the rules. So we have a strict 24-hour cancellation policy. There is a wait list. So a wait list will be created once the class is full. As spots open up, the member will be automatically added to the class or list. So that wait list will be, so say I sign up for class and I don't feel like going anymore, or I got an appointment and I cancel my class outside of that 24-hour range. Jess Fox is next on the list. She'll be automatically instated in that class and contacted that she will get into the class. So again, so she would have 24 hours to do that. If there's a situation where Jess gets bopped in on the wait list at the 25th hour before a class and she can't make it, there's something on there, we could be more accommodating because maybe she didn't plan for that or whatever, but that's going to be the plan there. And then we have some discounts. We have 12% discounts that are available for the following populations: teachers, students, FDNY, EMT, DOS is Department of Sanitation, social workers, armed services, essential workers. This is a link we'll have who specifically falls under those categories of essential workers. And then we're also extending this discount for individuals who have experienced economic hardship due to COVID, and we'll extend that discount through, at this point, we're saying December 31st, 2020. If we are not open in a relatively short amount of time, we can push that back potentially. But we do want to give folks who maybe are not part of these categories that have just been screwed over and having a rough time, to give them some break there. like I mentioned earlier, so those discounts would apply to the sustaining membership. So that brings that down to about $235 or so, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then fine print. And then we have our virtual memberships. So for our virtual memberships, we have recurring unlimited monthly, and that's going to be $185. We have a virtual drop-in. This is basically as it has been right now. We also have our Fit 55 at-home program, which is a little bit less, $125. That also has the drop-in and the punch card option. And the kids, which currently just have the drop-in and the punch card options. Also, what we consider virtual is nutrition, lifestyle coaching. Those prices vary based on the coach. And then we have remote programming coaching. So folks who are maybe not coming to the gym, but either doing personal training through Zoom, or their coach is just giving them remote programming that they're doing on their own. So that is kind of in a nutshell. I'm proud of how quickly I was able to get through that. In a nutshell, what our overall plan for our memberships are. So I don't know if we see any. So if you have any questions, let's throw them into the chat box now.
David, I've got a couple that folks have already said. So can I maybe start with those?
Yeah, go for it.
So first one, someone asked about the Zoom classes and in-person classes. So if they want to take more than 4 classes a week, right? So the way that our membership is set, it would give you access to 4 in-house classes plus all the virtual classes. The virtual classes will complement the group classes. They're not going to be the exact same, so there will be different workouts there. So you should be able to get in more than 4 days of programming a week.
Yeah, and Tony's question too, that like, no, you're not paying the gym membership plus virtual. If you're doing either sustaining or benefactor rate, and the sustaining benefactor are the exact, there's no perks for being a benefactor. You're not getting early access to classes. You're not getting your barbell cleaned for you or anything like that. We're just keeping it really straightforward.
That'd be nice though. Somebody had also asked about doubling up on classes. So obviously on the same day, wouldn't double up on a CrossFit group class because it's literally going to be the same thing. But the other thing to really consider is that you're only going to have 4 classes a week. So if you, like, you know, some folks wanted to do a group class and there was still space in the short circuit, you could double up if you reserved that class and you were able to get in. But that means that for the rest of that week, you only have 2 classes remaining. So that's kind of where that's at. Somebody else had asked about extended hours. We're not extending the hours. All of our classes are still going to be within our current our previous open hours. So nothing extended there. And the last thing I saw was kids will not be in-house as we reopen yet. So that will come along eventually. But for now, kids classes are staying virtual.
Some other questions that I see here. So Stacy asked, will folks who never did foundations be able to, so they can do group classes? We're not launching with foundations, and we're not launching with anybody else who's not a CFSBK member prior joining our gym. We 100% are going to focus on you guys and not new members. We don't want transfers. We don't want a bunch of folks coming into our gym. We're going to bias you guys, and we'll make everyone, you know, who's been active and engaged are going to get links to memberships directly before they go live on the site. But about foundations, so for right now, no, but we will bring foundations back. We have to eventually. We need more members eventually, so they will be, but not initially. Sophia, kids classes will be only virtual for the time being. Stacy, the virtual doesn't look like it does now, so that might mean scheduled programming. Programming might adapt based on people. If nobody has dumbbells, kettlebells anymore, we'll accommodate for that. The schedule, we're gonna try to keep more similar than different, so you guys still have access to those classes. And then we'll kind of adjust based on needs. If the classes are full, awesome. If the classes have 1-2 people in them, the virtual classes will have to adjust from there. Tony answered your question. I'll share the daily schedule again.
We have considered park workouts. We're still just kind of trying to figure out the logistics of it. So that's just on hold right now. Potentially in the future.
Yeah,
but it's
so
a lot to consider.
Probably Yeah, we the virtual classes, I was really hoping by phase 4 or shortly after phase 4, we get a timeline. You know, how we built out those classes, whether it's, 2 weeks or 2 months is very different, but we're not getting anything. So we will do park classes. I would say within 2 weeks, those are going to be going. They're going to happen at Double D Park or Thomas Green Park just down the street. They have handball courts there, which we're going to take over and use. But again, we will do some park classes, which are going to be anyone who's got their active membership can just come through and take those classes as well. But we do need to expand just because it's been so freaking long. We want to make sure that you guys have lots of different ways to get engaged. Will membership that are on hold reactivate automatically? Before we reactivate, they've been pushed back a month. So every month we email everyone and say, hey, we pushed back another month. They will not automatically go live. We will give people a notice that, hey, the membership will go active at this point, so people can make a decision with what they want to do. But again, we have new memberships, so they'll have to actually switch to a new membership as they go through.
And you will, if we do, or when we do decide to do the park classes and such, anyone coming to any of our classes, whether it's virtual or park or whatever, you will need to have an active membership. And if your membership was on hold, you can reactivate right now at that, and then at the rate that you're at, and then we'll make a system-wide change, give you guys at least 30 days notice before we do anything like that, so you guys have the option to figure out what works best for you.
Yeah. Robert asked, does Open Gym count against your weekly allotment of classes? Can I do Open Gym and then a class? So that would be a visit, because what we used to be able to do is like you could take a class and then you could hang out for half an hour and stretch and do your thing. Unfortunately, with the limitations of people that we have in the space and how regimented everything is going to be, Open Gym would be a full session. So if you want to do an Open Gym session, you have to either purchase the drop-in or have that as part of your membership. Joel Zimmer, will outdoor classes involve barbells or dumbbells, kettlebells? We don't have very many kettlebells, dumbbells left. We've rented out or loaned out over 250 pieces of equipment, but we will have something. We put a trailer in the gym as a plan to get barbells out there, but it's quite a bear. Even moving barbells and bumpers and everything a couple blocks it's a lot. What's it called? So we're probably going to we're going to launch the park classes with some basic. We'll bring some kettlebells, dumbbells, stuff that we have out there in a little dolly, in a little carry wagon that we have, and then we'll kind of build it from there.
There was a couple of questions about Open Gym, so maybe we went by it a little bit quickly, but Open Gym will also just be limited to 4 sessions a week, and the time period for that is a 90-minute session. We have limited spots on that, so within those 4 days, you will have to try to pick those days that work for your schedule. I know the morning times might be a little bit busier, but we're giving the options, more classes on Tuesdays than Mondays, so it might just be a little bit of shifting schedules on that.
We've had folks tell us, for back to the park workouts, we've had people like, oh, I'll bring my dumbbell. I don't think that's great. If you can do it, awesome. If you can bring your dumbbell, travel. But for a lot of people, it's hugely impractical to carry their 44-pound dumbbell 10 blocks in the hot sun to come work out with us and then go back. Again, you can absolutely do that, but that's not something that we're going to demand or expect. I'm going to put the schedule back up on. I'm going to reshare screen because I've had a few questions about the schedule, and I want you to be able to see it. So maybe I can make this a little bit smaller so we can get more in. I don't know if it's too small. So like I said, for the Open Gym, so at the top here, you can see the designation of the space, 597 and 608. So we could run 18 people through our group class at 6 a.m. because we have 8 people in 608. We have 10 people in 597, as well as the 2 additional Open Gym slots. The annex, all of this is PT, means personal training. So we have times allotted in 608 for personal training, but we also have, we've restructured the annex and how it's used to be personal training and massage therapy. You can go down. The group class schedule is more or less the same, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Same thing in the morning, 6 through noon. And then I'm just going to scroll across here. I don't have the virtual classes in here yet because, again, we're still kind of tweaking the details on those. But you can see when we closed, we had roughly between 40 and 50 Open Gym only members. what we have available will be ample time for those folks, that volume of folks, to get through and get their workout in, just based on the numbers. And again, you can see like open gym is, 10, 10, 10. Typically like on a Sunday or Saturday, for example, you'll have a small handful of open gym people who stay for a very long time, right? But with these 90-minute windows, we're able to accommodate quite a few more people for open gym than we were. So again, I actually think there's more open gym availability than there was if you're doing that membership. And like we said before, if you're a group classer and you want to occasionally do open gym, you can purchase a drop-in option. And conversely, if you're an open gym person, you've got an open gym membership, and you want to drop into a group class every now and again, you do have that option as well. They're not totally mutually exclusive. Let's see.
I think our virtual classes, our intention is to keep them at the same time that they are now. That was a question.
Yeah, more or less the same times that we have now. We might drop some of the evenings, but I don't know. It depends on the need. If people are showing up, we're gonna offer them.
We will not be doing workouts on the sidewalk. We just don't have the space, and we don't have the neighbors to allow for that.
Yeah, we have, it's a couple things. So on the 597 side, we have a lot of people coming in and out of the dialysis center, and 2 active roll-up gates on both sides of us. And then on the other side, we have, technically you're not supposed to be able to do it. If people call 311, they can shut you down for doing sidewalk workouts. And we have a neighbor who will definitely call on us, who's not a fan of ours. Let's see, any other questions about our memberships? No, nay. That was crystal clear then. Let me open it up in general. So if you guys have any other questions in general about anything, I'm happy to accommodate, unless I missed something, Jess, unless there's something that you think I need to.
No, I mean, the other thing we'll just say, guys, is that this is all, it could all change tomorrow. Like, I mean, this is our general plan. And if we were to open tomorrow, this is what we're shooting for. But like realistically, there's some time. There's going to be a lot of changes. It's going to be a fluid plan. So we just ask for you guys to be as patient with us as you can, and to keep giving us feedback, because that's how we can make things work better. But it's really going to be like a group effort on all parts to actually get us all back in there.
Yeah, definitely. We want your feedback when we open up. When we reopen, I'm basically going to live at the gym 6 a.m. to 9:30, obsessively watching everything and asking questions and seeing how things go. Make sure things are safe, make sure things are equitable, that there's not weird stuff that's happening that we need to take care of. But we definitely need and want your feedback, and we encourage that. Same thing as we go through this. Jay asked, is the benefactor membership only applicable to group classes, or can you be a benefactor open gym member? Jay, you can be a benefactor open gym member. Thank you for that. We would appreciate that. Other questions? Look at all you wonderful people. I'm scrolling through now finally that I don't have to be on the screen. Look how cute everybody is.
Yeah.
I aspire to be Jay.
Who doesn't?
Jay says, how can I give you more money? Yes, everyone's very cute. When we closed down, my intention was to really try and keep as many of our staff members afloat as we could. CFSBK is the sum of its parts, its staff and its members. I emailed you guys out about this, but just so you're aware that we've been able to continue to support the health insurance of all our members because of you guys, because of the support that we had giving. Even people who are technically unemployed, we still kept their memberships active. I thought it unethical to pull someone's health care during a pandemic. I consider that a human right, and if it's on a small business to do that, then so be it. But this is something that has been really important to me. Is I want to pull our whole team through this. Kind of a no person left behind type deal. And we're going to come together and we're going to do whatever the hell we have to make this thing successful. We're taking this one step at a time. It's been a scary, frustrating process. seeing the numbers every month, even though we have tremendous support from our membership and our community, based on what they were, it's a little bit like you double take and look at the numbers. We're like, holy crap. We're still paying full rent on both spaces. We have 3 leases technically with the annex, and they ain't cheap. So, again, we're just trying to survive this. Like I said, we're going to continue to adapt. We're going to do the park classes. We'll do whatever we need to do. But we want your feedback. We want you guys to be engaged. Don't ever hesitate to ask for something. You guys are everything to us, and the gym is nothing without its community. It's a business, but it's a community too. I think the reason we've been successful is because we treated it that way for so long, is that people are more important than the bottom line. Adriana says, what is the projected reopening date? I have no idea. Ask Cuomo. Matt Cooper, real cute. Does a bandana count as a mask? So an appropriate mask. So a bandana is not a mask. Whatever is an appropriate. I mean, I don't have a classification to succinctly describe it. What is a Matt Cooper? To succinctly describe it, but we all know what a mask is. So if you show up with like a headband, half covering your nose or whatever, we're going to ask you to leave. Or we have masks available at the gym. You can buy a mask for $1. They're just little masks. Yes, we will. We will have a $1 mask in case you, I've been doing, like I said before, I've been doing the workouts masked, and I will do them at noon. I will turn the fan off. I will keep my shirt on. I will try to make it as miserable for myself as I can, especially all the worst workouts, because I would not ask any of you guys to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. So I've been doing all the workouts to the same exact time frames with the mask in the heat of the day, so on and so forth. So I know exactly what I'm asking you guys to do, even though obviously I'm there alone doing the thing. So again, that's really important for me. We do have, so part of our, when you sign up for a class, there's going to be a health declaration that's built into the Zen Planner app, basically saying that, like, you're free of symptoms, you don't feel, blah, 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 you haven't done anything crazy. I don't know all the logistics of that, the specific wording. But then also in the waiver that we have, we've included language for COVID as well. So I see there's Ben put some training mask link. Cool. So I thought this also would be a good opportunity, Chris Fox, since we've covered so much of what we want to cover, to make a little announcement.
Hey guys, so it's, I see a reaction from Amy. We love you guys so much, but we are moving. We are leaving Brooklyn.
Sorry, you can't hear him. We're leaving Brooklyn at the end of the month, and
we promise we're actually happy.
It's really it's so weird to tell people via Zoom, because we love you guys so much, and we'd obviously love to be there in person to tell you all. But we're still going to be connected through the gym. We'll still be doing some of our virtual classes. I'm like shaking right now. So we just wanted to let you guys know. And I don't know what else to say right now, because this is weird, but.
Where are you moving?
We're moving, go ahead.
We're moving to the Midwest. We're moving to Ohio, where Jess has got most of her family. So that's a big part of the incentive to move to Ohio. And kind of start a new chapter of our lives, and hopefully not leave this chapter fully behind yet, because technologies like this exist and we can still get to see your guys' faces. And there's obviously, I don't know, I think both Jess and I are a little overwhelmed, and there's a lot more to say that will take some time to figure out how to say more eloquently. We're really hoping to be able to do some type of properly masked and socially distanced goodbye in Prospect Park, since we do have Prospect Park nearby. And, I think Jess said it a couple times, but we love you guys so much, and love David so much. And this place, CrossFit South Brooklyn, as you guys know, for you is more than just a gym and a place where you go to get fit. And for Jess and I has been more than that, and also more than a place where we go to work. So, I mean, I don't want to start crying like Jess was just starting to cry. And once my faucet goes, it doesn't turn off. So I'm gonna hold it up there. Thank you for giving us a few minutes to tell you guys that.
Yeah, it's pretty much been an everyday crying for something. So it means a lot to have spent so many years with you guys. So Molly is not staying. The dogs are coming with us. And someone else said, yes, 2 blue votes for Ohio. So we're bringing that out there. But thank you guys so much. And we really, really hope that we can see some of you guys at a get together in the park, probably the weekend of August the 20th or something, but we'll try to get something out there. So try to save that date. And we'll still be here. We'll still be here virtually.
The Foxes started at CFSBK in 2009 when we were still back in the Lyceum. Jess Fox wanted to join, and Chris was being very suspicious of us, so he joined just to keep an eye on things, if I remember correctly. And
I have a different version.
That's how I remember it. But you know, it was just organic. Like, they were such a good fit for the community, and we got along so well. You know, Jess was working for the city. Chris was already a coach at New York Sports Club and had a background in it. And then just very, you know, organically, gradually, like, their interest in being part of our team, you know, presented itself. And actually, Chris's first class, I don't even remember this, Chris, like, he had been asking me, he was like, I'm interested in coaching. I was like, yeah, let's figure something out. Let's start something rolling. And then I don't know, I was sick or something. I had to cancel class, or I had to bail out on class, like, last minute. And I was like, hey, do you want to start right now? So really just threw him into the deep end on a text being like, just coach class.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, really. Do you remember that, Chris?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember, like, I think it was when we had level
start.
classes too. It was like the level 2 class.
Yeah. It was an ominously unprofessional start, but we figured it out and we got it all together. And now the Foxes have been part of the CFSBK family again since 2009. You know, there's few people who have touched as many, you know, hearts and lives and everything at our gym as they have. And they've been, you know, so integral to the point that a lot of people assume they own the gym and not me. And they'll be like, you're the owner? I thought the Foxes owned the gym. I was like, nope, it's me. But so they'll be really missed. I mean, it's I can't begin to put into words and express how much they've given and how much, you know, how much they've worked and the labor of love they put into this gym and helping it. You guys all know, you know, to make it what it is. So again, I just want to thank them in front of you guys for all of their service. It's been absolutely devastating to see so many people, you know, leave the city and leave our community, especially under such austere circumstances where it's a Zoom call or whatever it might be. And this is no different. So we'll figure out a proper send-off party and then in the park, something like that. And then I don't know if we can fit 82 people in the park that we have in the Zoom class right now, but we'll put something out there.
We'll have to do registration 10 at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll do come in shifts.
It does cost one class though, so you guys can choose.
But like we said, so the Foxes will be doing remote classes, virtual classes still. Jess is still our admin. So she's our director of memberships and programming. So she'll still be involved in the gym remotely as they transition through this and we all transition together. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions? No other questions. What's Ohio like?
There's land. There's porch in the backyard.
It's white. It's really white.
Sadly, a little.
So, I don't want to end it because I don't want you guys to all go away. But I want to just thank you guys so much again, just kind of circling back to really how I started is that, like, I have so much appreciation for this community. You know, it's been a rough time and we're all getting through it. And I'm, despite still being closed for however long, I am so lucky and so grateful to have the support of the community that we have. most other businesses do not have anything like this. You're a restaurant you go to, you like, you're friendly with somebody, and they go out of business. Okay, no big deal. Find a new place to get a sandwich. But we know that, you know, how much our gym means to you guys and how much you mean to us. And we're going to do whatever we can to stay afloat, to stay alive, so that we can be open for another 13 years, hopefully. So on that, I will end it. If you have any additional questions, something you don't want to share with the group, email me. Just shoot me a comment on the blog. I do the blog. I read all the comments. I mostly answer all my emails. But reach out to me. I'm here for you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I hope you have a great night. I hope to see more of you soon. I'll be seeing some of you guys in the park soon. And hopefully I will be seeing you guys in the gym, masked and sweaty before we know it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Love you all. Peace and love.
See you soon.
Bye, Asha. Sophia, Bjorn.
Thank you. I don't want to leave. There's so many people. I think everyone.
This is like the virtual block. Denise.
Bye.
You
just want to hang out.
Catherine, are we just gonna hang out? What we're all doing now?
Yeah, let's all hang out.
You guys stay here.
Hey, I have a guest. Someone wants to say hello.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Nice.
What am I looking at? No. 2 screens, I see.
David, will you save the chat?
Well, yeah.
Like we're in middle school. Like, you hang up first.
Yeah.
We're out. Gotta eat dinner. See you guys tomorrow, 7 a.m. Come join us.
If you want any more, I'll give you one more little thing if you want, so you can stay on this long. We're planning on 3 new hero workouts. One is going to be for teachers, one is going to be for frontline healthcare workers, and one is going to be for essential workers. So we've been talking to some people in those different groups to how we can properly honor them. We're going to be doing some different things in terms of whether when we said we were de-affiliating, our affiliation is through November still, so you can't de-affiliate if it's active still. Some things we're going to do differently. So we're not doing in our workouts gender designations anymore. There's no RX gender designations. It's going to be a scale of weights, which we do anyway. We're not doing, we can still do the workouts, but we're not doing the girls' workouts anymore based on Greg Glassman and his motivation for naming and such.
Misogyny.
And there, yeah. So we took down the leaderboards. It's still going to be, don't worry, training will still be very hard. You guys are still doing burpees, squats, lunges, everything like that. You know, it'll feel more simple than different, to be honest with you. But, you know, in that moment to step back from CrossFit a little bit, I was able to say, like, well, okay, I don't want to just do business as usual. How are we going to upgrade what we're doing? How are we going to make this more specific to our community and our needs, our values? With that being said, I've been extremely optimistic about the new ownership at CrossFit. I've been involved in a few conversations. A couple of weeks ago, we had some panel discussions over the weekend that ended up being about 6 hours of conversation about the future of CrossFit. So I've been extremely happy with the direction that the company is going to be moving. Eric Rosa got ownership of the company a week ago, maybe technically. So I'm optimistic about the future of the company. We have a lot more positive things coming. So we're still holding on. We're still Community Fitness South Brooklyn. You know, I want to see them do a little bit more before we jump back. It was not something light that I did by leaving CrossFit. That was terrible. I hated it. It was the right thing to do. It was obviously the right thing to do. There was no question about that. But it was a difficult decision. But just on that note, you will see some maybe non-CrossFit-y things or things that we think we've evolved in the CrossFit world that we think make things a little bit more inclusive and user-friendly for all y'all. So stay tuned for more of that. All right, guys. I'm going to take a breath and relax now because I've been so nervous before this. Again, thank you all for coming. I hope to see y'all soon. Bye, Steph.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. Bye, Mary. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye. Adios. Thank you.
Bye, guys.